maybe expand a little bit on the reasons why, what factors have contributed to this unattended model being a good fit for your company. And I think that'll help us understand a little bit more about why you've chosen that mode of operation.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned, my dad started our company, and he was the one who decided to start with his first store completely unattended, and he made it work for his second, third, and by the time I joined him, getting out of college in the early 70s, he was working on his sixth store.
Mm-hmm.
He had already done it the other way. He managed a chain of 14 full service, they call them launder centers out here, and they had the works fully attended, of course, and wash, dry, and fold, and they even had coin operated dry cleaning.
Oh boy, yeah.
And you could do a load of dry cleaning for $2.50 for 10 quarters, I believe. So
and the perfumes were free, right, back then?
They were. One of my jobs early on to be the night manager there. But getting back to it, I joined my dad getting out of college, and we built it up from 6 to 10 stores, and have never run a store other than unattended. Only way I know how to run them. I'm told there are other ways, but I'm not sure what they are.
Well, again, that makes you perfect for today's conversation. Well, Casey, maybe you can share a little bit about the philosophy that Bob brought to this and that you've executed for so many years. Some of those factors that have kept you unattended for all these years.
Yeah, so we might be a little bit different. We're in a pretty small towns. Most of our stores, the cities are 10,000 people. One location has about 25,000 people in the town. Most of them we don't have, the towns are small enough, we also don't have competition. Mm-hmm. Not that I think that would necessarily sway us either way, but that's just a side note. So a lot of what dictated it was just in the beginning was just pretty much the lack of sales. I mean, there's not enough sales in a small town to justify having someone there all the time. We used to be open 24 hours a day. We're kind of open 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you can go there and you can kind of see ebbs and flows of when the busy time is. It just financially doesn't make sense to have someone be there all the time. So that's pretty much what dictated the initial decision, and we've just stuck with it.
Well, and I think, Brian, the notion of whether or not a store or a location can afford an attendant, in so many words, I think, if I'm guessing, that informed or has informed your philosophy in terms of which locations are fully attended and which are not. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your unattended versus attended philosophy?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, for me, just like you guys, right? I kind of figured it out by rules of thumb. Size is certainly a factor. If your store is less than a couple thousand square feet, it's not going to get as dirty, and there's not as much to clean as a giant store. If you're not doing very many turns per day, the machines aren't being used very much, there's less cleaning, therefore less time needs to be spent doing that. But I mean, when it all boils down to it, it boils down to what can you afford, and laundromats that aren't making enough money just can't afford the payroll, especially as we know, I mean, payroll's going up. Everybody wants $15 an hour, so my rule is that if your laundry is making $15,000 gross a month or less, probably should be unattended. You don't really have enough volume there to afford even a part-time attendant. So you hire an independent contractor and have it unattended. If you're between 15 and say 25,000, maybe partly attended, and anything over 25, look, that store's busy enough. Machines are getting dirty. Cleanliness is important. So, maybe that's when you go fully attended.